Okay, so it generates light in the immediate block area surrounding it, but beyond that, it doesn't generate light. Lovely. I am definitely getting lag at the moment. So yeah, the progress is definitely advancing on the mining. A lot of the progress is just small little upgrades here and there. However, those small little upgrades really do add up to a lot, as you can tell by this grand expanse before me. It really does add up. It has quite the impact on presentation. Oops, didn't mean to use that one up. Well, I guess it is what it is. So yeah, as you can see, the pickaxes definitely get a nice improvement, a nice upgrade when you're using your efficiency enchantments correctly. That is, assuming you're using them correctly. If you're not using your enchantments correctly, you probably want to see someone about that. I hear they know what causes that. It's called, being derpy. I'm just kind of a little bit head in the clouds at the moment, because I just had a really good nap before I uploaded my videos, and then I sat there waiting for like 6 hours overnight while my videos uploaded, and I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. And so my brain's not exactly top of the morning sharpness. I'm used to having my videos uploaded overnight, and that way by the time 3 a.m. rolls around, they're all nice and ready and their captions are all sorted out, which is part of the reason why I delay the release, by the way, is I wanted to make sure that the video captions were all taken care of. I didn't want to have the videos go out and then have to sit there and wait for 6 hours waiting for the closed captions to roll in so that I could watch the closed captions to verify that the captioning actually says what I said. Instead, I just kind of take a leap of faith on it and I schedule the videos for like 12 hours from when I upload them, and it kind of all works out. Works out rather nicely, in fact. However, YouTube still is taking their time on handling the closed captioning. Not sure why. As I said before, I might just be entirely underestimating the hardware requirements for audio processing, but it seems like they have literally built an entire artificial intelligence specifically for this one task. You would think that it would be very it would be able to very rapidly analyze all of the data, study it all, scan it all, get it all taken care of, squared away, whatever you want to call it. You would think it would all be very nicely and concisely handled. Oh, really? Okay, well, that changes a little bit. So that means I actually want... Well, I'll still dig that out as a nice marker. That means I actually want this. Something doesn't quite add up here. Ah, that's what it is. Also, I just noticed there's blocks down here, so I probably wanted to grab those. Good thing I noticed them. Jump up here. Yeah, so this was the problem. I'm like, why is this all offset wrong? If it's lined up down there, it should be lined up here. Why is it not lined up here? Turned out it was offset wrong. I had it on the diagonal offset on accident. Whoopsies. My bad. Got that sorted out though. For better or worse. In some parts it's only offset by like 1. Meanwhile, in other parts, it's offset quite a ways. So yeah, it's something for me to keep my eye on. Yeah, over here it's fine. It seems I just managed to somehow get lost in translation on the jump down. Not sure how, but I managed. Fortunately, I noticed it and got the correct calculation for the positioning of all of these torches. All nice and secured. Okay. Here. Yeah, sorry I'm not talking very much. Like I said, I'm just kind of, I'm a bit out of it. I'm mostly just focusing on progressing in the base. The use of faster tools is also, of course, requiring more attention so that I don't accidentally just go running off a cliff or something. You know, gotta make sure you don't accidentally do something you regret. So, apologies for the moment of silence, but it's starting to look nice. It's coming together. I believe I mentioned last episode that I was wanting to look into buying the from the Steam store the Final Fantasy XI game, Final Fantasy XI MMO RPG. Like, the game's alright. I do remember a lot of content from the game. I do know that there's a lot of stuff that I will be able to do that new players probably won't be able to do because I'll just be a high enough level to be able to do it. I do hope to be able to play it regularly, complete with, you know, recording it. But even if I can't record it, I do know that I will definitely have fun playing that game when I do manage to get my computer all sorted out and the whole 9 yards. I really need to take it to, like, some computer expert and have them just spend a day with it and go through and renew all the DLL files, give it all the updates, the whole 9 yards. Because honestly, it's just a bit of a mess to try and do it myself. It's very tedious, very, very tedious. Like, oh my god. Like, if given the choice, I would rather spend the time fishing in Minecraft. Because it's just so boring and tedious. It wears me out just thinking about it. So instead, I'm focusing on, excavating all of this lapis lazuli. Because, heck yeah, lapis. Good for enchanting, good for experience. And also, one of my favorite stones. So there's that. I believe I saw coal in here somewhere. I did. There it is. Ah, lovely. This appears to be a mostly vertical vein of coal. As I figured. Boop, boop. So much coal. There's a lot of coal here. Oh, oops. So yeah, the Final Fantasy XI game would be a decent addition to my collection. Minecraft is kind of more my style, but I really do miss playing Final Fantasy XI. It was truly a really great game. It was very well made. It was not one of those autopilot theoretical free roams. It was an actual free roam game, They didn't have autopilot back then. You had to rely on your wits, which was nice. It was a great change, because most of the games that I played, I had a tendency to beat in the span of, like, a few days. So, yeah, I got pretty good at video games, because a lot of video games utilize the same mechanics, just, reskinned. So it became very easy for me to figure out how to beat certain video games, to the point where I was just not getting challenged by video games, except by just setting it to the hardest difficulty possible and just saying, well, if I die, I die. But I haven't had to do that in a long while, because I just haven't gotten a new game in the longest time. So I just haven't really been challenged, When I do get a new game, I have a tendency to just go completely overboard with it and just play the ever-loving crap out of it. I tend to want to learn everything I can about the game, and then once I have learned everything I can about the game, I have a tendency to just kind of wander off elsewhere. Because, well, I've learned everything I can about the game. What else is there, right? So it's a bit of a conundrum for me. I know it's a little bit weird for sure. Primarily because it means that half of the games in my actual game library I don't really play, simply because I've already beaten them, or I'm so incredibly close to beating them that I don't really feel the motivation to complete them, because I feel like I might know how they end already. Rarely has a game actually surprised me on that. I've usually been pretty adept at spotting exactly where the plot line, where the story is going. For example, on the Tales of Symphonia series, I managed to predict that they were going to go for some massive plot twist that was going to probably shake the foundation of trust that you, the player, thought you had with the characters. And then it was going to take that and possibly change the entire world map environment, and then it would go from there to making it so you couldn't return temporarily to the first world map environment. And the result was that the player gets very disoriented in their new location, as their new location lacks any foreknowledge of where the character is able to rest and heal up. The player's usual safety net has been taken away in that situation, which is a very effective tactic when you're trying to build an amount of tension in your game, especially when your game is extremely long, when you have a very long game. It's a great tactic when you're getting ready to, change discs, because it allows you to assign an entirely separate disc to that set of graphics. You can literally change the entire character chipset, as it were. That's what it's called for the internal graphics, by the way. The way that your character's looks are determined is based on their character chipset. So my character up here in the top left, that character up there, that character is determined by a character chipset, which is a collection of images in a specific order that allows the computer game, the game, or whatever you want to call it, the graphics display, to interpret how the character looks based on the modeling. So your model would, of course, have some form of spine or bone that it has applied to the model, which allows it to register some method of tracking how the image is wrapped. So, for example, the head is in a specific location on the image, and the computer keeps track of that location instead of needing to keep track of where that image specifically is, which is a very highly evolved method of image ciphers, image filtering, and image recognition. It's very high level image recognition, so it's very useful to know such a skill. I'm not sure if AIs are normally taught that method or not. They should be, if they're not, because that is a very useful method. So I think AIs would have a lot of fun knowing that that method is an available option. They would be able to reserve a lot of their energy so that they're not constantly searching images for content when they could just search a segment of information, a segment of the data, to receive the same amount of information. Let's put the gold in there. Put the cobblestone away. Put this one. That one's fine. That one's fine. That one needs to be filled. Block of redstone. Block of lapis. Block of coal. Okay, finally got a full block of, or a full stack of redstone blocks. Same for the coal. So we have spare coal, we have spare redstone. We're doing good. Yeah, we're doing real good. I should go ahead and repair my shovel, or my pickaxe, I mean, right now. So I now have Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 2 iron pickaxe. A very, very effective pickaxe. Very effective combination. I do need to make sure that I of course gather all of the materials. So for example, I need to head back in this minecart to retrieve the cobblestone that I left laying on the ground up here. And then I also need to start utilizing my inventory a little bit as I start filling in the ceiling. I'll need to do that. If you're wondering what Unbreaking does, the Unbreaking enchantment is able to avoid using the durability of a tool. Are you okay there? My game decided it had a bit of a moment. I'm not really sure what happened. I think everything is okay though. As I was saying, the Unbreaking enchantment has a percentage chance of avoiding damaging the tool when the tool is used. So as I dig through this, you will notice that every now and then the image of my pickaxe on the hotbar will shake. When it shakes, it is using some of its durability, which means its durability is going down. However, you will notice that for a large portion of this dig, the tool does not shake when it breaks through stone. This is because the enchantment kicks in and avoids using the durability. The tool is still mined, and all of the other effects are still applied, so the efficiency is still applied, for example, meaning I am able to mine the block faster. If I had fortune, that would also be applied, so the quantity of loot when I mine out ore, or ore of some type that doesn't drop itself. So for example, iron would be excluded and gold would be excluded because those both drop themselves. I did not intend to dig there, so I shall fill that in. But redstone, since redstone does not drop itself, if I'm not using Silk Touch, redstone will drop extra ore if I have fortune applied to my tool. So fortune would be a lovely enchantment to have. However, I do not have fortune on this tool yet, nor do I have Silk Touch. So neither of those are really relevant. However, I do have a Silk Touch iron shovel that I'm able to retrieve, should I so desire. I'm glad that this ran out when it did, because I want to go repair this iron pickaxe, because this is a very good iron pickaxe. This is a very valuable iron pickaxe. So I actually want to go repair this thing. So it's a good thing that this pickaxe ran low on durability when it did, which, you know, would be right now, because I would like to maintain my tool. I have invested multiple levels into this tool, as all of the enchantments were performed at an enchanting table, meaning I sank at least, let's see, if it was one for fortune, one for, or no, it was 2 for efficiency, 2 for unbreaking, plus another 2 for unbreaking. So 4 levels minimum into this pickaxe. But those are probably 2-level enchantments. So I probably sunk 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I probably sank like solid 12 levels into this pickaxe by now. It's a very, very expensive pickaxe, but it's very worth it. As you can see, I'm just chewing through all of this coal like it's nothing. And then, of course, for lighting, it's just torch. And then to fill in this lovely pothole that I just made, I simply use cobblestone. That being said, do I want to fill it in? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm actually 1 block level too low right here. So I want to fill in all of this cobble. Now you can see that I don't need a torch down here to spawn proof it, because now, since it's so well filled in, it's already spawn proof. I believe there was redstone over here. Yes, there was. Oops, dug too far down. Not that that ever stopped redstone. Okay. I just, once again, cobblestone to fill it in. This one actually had a torch on it beforehand, so I place the torch down as well. Now I want to go through, make sure that I have the roof stripped away, because that's the next step, since, you know, that's kind of the whole reason why I'm digging this out in tiers, is I want to strip away the roof, fill it in with the proper decoration, and then I wipe out the midsection floor. So I want to strip away this roof, meaning I need to equip my pickaxe once again. I just need to basically keep an eye on my pickaxe. As well as my shovel, apparently, because I keep encountering dirt. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Oop, bumped into the cactus. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of work to be done for stripping away the ceiling, filling in the blocks that need to be filled in. As you can see, it's got this nice repeating pattern. It's a very simple pattern: full block, stair, half slab, upper, stair, full block, stair, upper half slab, stair, full block, stair, upper half slab, stair, and then repeat from the first block in the pattern. And of course the stairs are angled opposite and upside down from each other, so it creates this nice little helmet look, this nice little tunnel. Nice arch, you know. But yeah, the the MMO games can get quite intense for how competitive they get. So that's one reason why I like Final Fantasy XI is it's not very competitive in the sense of player versus player. It's more of a colony versus colony type of aspect in Final Fantasy XI. So you want, your group, your colony, to perform better than the other colony. And the way that that's measured in Final Fantasy XI is, simply put, kills. You have to kill things. If your group kills fewer things, then your group doesn't win the area. If your group doesn't have the majority of the areas at the end of a week, or maybe it was the end of a month, then your group would ultimately not gain the bonuses associated with being in the top position. There are bonuses for being in first, there are bonuses for being in second, there are some bonuses for being in third. There aren't many. Very, very few. But, there's various benefits to each aspect of everything. It's just a matter of perspective for the most part. Yeah, we're gonna have to start another stack of redstone blocks, it looks like. I was wondering when this was going to happen. Oh, it looks like we're going to have to do the same for coal. Okay, well, in that case, I guess we're doing this way. Yeah, the sheer quantity of space saved through item compression, which means, simply put, through the use of turning the coal into a block of coal, or the redstone into a block of redstone, or the emeralds into a block of emerald, or the lapis lazuli into blocks of lapis lazuli. The sheer quantity of space saved is rather ridiculous. Can I enchant my shield? I cannot. Can I enchant my stone shovel? Silk touch. I can give it silk touch. Grand. What about this stone shovel? I can give that one silk touch as well. What about this iron sword? Looting 2, fire aspect 1, unbreaking 1. I could get away with giving it looting, sure. First off, however, I should look into getting a iron pickaxe to repair my old iron pickaxe with. Okay, so that'll cost 5 or 11. I'll go for the 5. Now, this pickaxe should last a very long time. And additionally, I managed to actually find more iron than I spent. So, that's always nice. Restock the furnace, because it's gonna need it. So yeah, I'm definitely progressing. I'm getting a lot of material cleared out, which means I'm able to make sure that when I come in to install the ceiling, I won't be burdened by various types of... oh my. Well, aren't you a thing? Look at you, being all slime chunky. There's so many slimes after me. Okay, now I can just kill them. It is so noisy. Fortunately, slimes in the overworld cannot hurt you when they're just the little baby slimes here. It's when they're bigger that you gotta worry about them. I got 18 slimes from that. And a few levels. And if I'm hearing this correctly, there's a slime like right over there somewhere. Let me see, is he in here? No. Oh, he's down here. Okay, so I got 21 slimes from that. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I cleared out the bedrock, or not the bedrock, I cleared out the ore. The diamonds were just a little bit further, literally 1 block deeper. Apparently this is in slime chunks, so that's gonna be fancy. Okay. This place is looking real nice now. I mean, it still looks like a disconjointed mess, but it's a nice looking disconjointed mess, you know? Oh, there's a torch here. Oh, even better, there's a pumpkin there. So yeah. If I do that kind of content for my channel, I know that Final Fantasy XI is going to take up a lot of my free time. There's really not much I can do about that because A, it's actually a pretty fun game. B, Final Fantasy XI is very, very expansive. There is a lot to do in the game. Even if you don't want to do a lot, you'll still probably end up doing a lot. Simply by virtue of just the sheer volume of things that can be done, it's pretty immense. I mean, it's an MMO, so if you're familiar with how MMOs normally operate, you're probably able to roughly estimate just how intensive Final Fantasy XI can be. To give you an idea, the file size of the game is roughly 12 gigabytes, if I recall correctly, after installing updates, of which there are plenty. When I say plenty, I mean plenty. This game has gone ahead and released its level 99 updates. So the Final Fantasy XI game, that is. So there is definitely a lot to cover. There's plenty of places that I would be capable of showing off, because I would be able to travel to all of these different locations. I would be able to solo a lot of the monsters required for showing off the various enemies. I would probably live stream doing some hunting of the what they call the notorious monsters, which is simply the monsters which will drop unique equipment that cannot be traded. So it's more of a badge of honor that has really good stats. I'm half paying attention to what I'm saying, but yeah, it's basically you can get I think it's rare EX items. EX, that's what it is. It's exclusive. So if you get an EX item, you're getting an exclusive item, which means no one else has had that item before you got the item. There may have been other people who acquired that item, but they have not had your item. Your item is exclusive to you. No one else can acquire your item. They can't, steal it off your character, even if they wanted to. It's just not in the game code that they would ever be able to do something like that. It is untradeable. It's untransferable. It's bound to the character if you want to get rid of the item. Perhaps you want to free up the inventory spot. You have to destroy the item. You can't even sell the item. So you can't even pawn it off on an NPC somewhere. You have to just outright destroy the item. It's the only way to get the item, of course, is the hunting of these notorious monsters, as they're called. And the name is quite appropriate. You might not think that it's an appropriate name for a creature to be called a notorious monster. The easy way to tell if you found a notorious monster in Final Fantasy XI is if you go to check its difficulty, and the difficulty reads out as impossible to gauge. That usually either means you're roughly, I think it was 10 or 5 levels below the monster. 5 levels below the monster is still very hard. So yeah, it would need to be like 10 levels above you if it was to be listed as impossible to gauge while also being a notorious monster. If it wasn't a notorious monster and was listed as impossible to gauge, it would need to be at least 10 levels above you. So it was definitely something that was something to watch out for. You didn't want to end up in a fight that you couldn't win. type of situation. But at the same time, there really is no way to know just how well you're going to pair up, against or square off against a notorious monster, because there is no way to gauge what level they are other than just by how hard they hit. So you have to gauge based on how much damage you take, what its level was. And then going off of that reference sheet, you're able to calculate roughly what you need in order to fight fair against that thing. But of course, in order to do that, first you of course need to fight the thing that you're trying to face off against, the notorious monster. I know there are 2 to 3 notorious monsters around the starting towns that are decently low level, but you'll want to be like level 7 before you take any of those on. The other thing to note about notorious monsters is they each have a unique name, so there will only be one of that monster at any point in time on the server that I'm aware of. There might be a few where they spawn in, packs of more than one, but for the most part, it's going to be a 1-to-1 matchup. The reason for that is because, as I mentioned, no one else would have the item. The only time another person would have a chance at interacting with your item when you are hunting a notorious monster item is when you are actually acquiring the item after killing the monster. That is the only time another player gets a chance at interacting with the item. And the interaction is specifically to cast lots for the item. In other words, to try and see if they can roll higher than anyone else who wants the item. Some people prefer not casting lots. Me, I'm kind of in